All right, hi kids. Welcome to February 13th, 2024. Mrs. Fettis is here for me today, and you should have the handout Finding and Using Patterns in Tables. Okay, so we're going to start with number 1, and I'm going to walk us through problem number 1 and problem number 2, and then you all are going to figure out what we need to do for the rest. When you finish this page, then you're going to have Mrs. Fettis or Mrs. Pugh check your responses, and then you are going to work on your variables and expressions mission. If you have any questions, go to your Google Classroom. Okay, now, we talked about this yesterday or the day before, yesterday, Monday, and Friday, so if you were here for either of those days, then this is not entirely unfamiliar. So the question is, how do I get from this number to this number? It will be the same as from this number to this number. And the same thing over here. How do I get from this number to this number? It's going to be the same as this number to this number. So that difference is going to be the same from -4 to -6. The same distance will be from -6 to -8. Over here, we've got -6 to -9. It will be the same distance as from -9 to -12. So how do we find that distance? Well, if you remember, we start, if I want to go from here to here, we're going to start with this -6 and take away the number before. So what you're going to plug in is -6 minus -4. And I'll give you a second to write that. Sorry, I got blurry for a second. So everybody's plugging in -6 minus -4, and you will see in your calculator -2. And it's going to be the same distance here, but we're going to verify. So you're going to plug in -8 minus the number above it, -6. And you're going to see that this distance here is also -2. I'm going to make this -2 down here a little bit, so it's kind of in between. Okay. So if I want to go down 2 more rows, which is what we're going to do, you start at -4, and you're going to -2, -2. I don't know why it's so blurry. Give me a second. How about, here we go. So if we have my flash on, here we go. It's a little brighter. So if I start with here, I'm going to go down 2 to -6, which is -2. -6 minus 2, -8. Well, how do I get from -8 to this one? -2 again. So -8 minus 2, and that is going to give me -10. And then if I want to go down 2 more, we just type in -2, and we'll get to -12. Well, one thing we talked about, it's highly important. If I'm going this direction, I'm going to take away 2, minus 2, minus 2. If I'm going down this way, we're going to -2. But what if I want to go back up this way? Well, now we're not going to -2, we're going to add 2, because we're going the opposite direction. This way is taking away 2. This way will be adding 2. Sorry about that, I bumped my phone, and we're back. Okay, so we're going to take -4, since we're going back up this way now, we're going to do -4, sorry about the blurry, -4 plus 2. So I'll give you a second to write that and plug that in. And you should get -2. And then if I want to go up 1 more, how about I put it on this side? -2 plus 2 will get me to 0. So this pattern is highly important. We take the pattern that we're given, and we're going to keep going, -2, -2, -2, -2. And then we're going to reverse that and go the other direction, which would be plus 2, plus 2. We only have to do it twice. We don't have to do it 5 billion times. All right, so let's look at this other side here. So we want to know how to get from -6 to -9. So we would plug in -9 minus -6. And I'll give you a second to type that in. You should all be seeing -3 or -3. And to verify, how do I get from -9 to -12? Well, you're going to take that -12 minus -9, and there it is, -3. That's a minus. Well, what if I want to keep going? So I'm going to take this -3, -9 minus 3, -12 minus 3. It just keeps going down, which would be, let's see, -12 minus 3. That's right, it's -15. I know you were all doing it. And then -15 minus 3. What are y'all waiting for? Press the buttons. -15 minus 3 is -18. So if I'm coming down this way, it's going to be down -3, -3, -3, -3. Well, what if I want to go back up? Well, I'm not going to -3 to get here. I'm going to go the opposite of -3, which is +3. So you're going to do -7 plus 3. I'm sorry, -6 plus 3. My mistake. -6 plus 3. Let's write that here so we know what to do. And that's going to go right, excuse me, right here. -6 plus 3 is -3. And then we do it again. We're going back up this direction. This way is -3. This way is +3. So -3 plus 3, 0. Okay, so that's how we essentially do it. We find the pattern going this direction, and then we reverse it to go back the other direction. Okay, well, let's look at number 2. We're going to find the pattern, and then we're going to reverse our direction. Okay, so I'm getting from 3 to 12. How do I get from 3 to 12? Okay, so we're going to start with and take away, and everybody's plugged it in. And you all say it's 8. No, it's 9. So plus 9. And then how do I get from 12 to 21? So you're going to take this number minus this number. You plug it in. And you get 17. No, it's 9. Plus 9. So we add 9, add 9, add. So we keep going following this pattern. 21 plus 9, 30. 30 plus 9, 39. This way is plus 9. This way is minus 9. So 3 minus 9, -6. -6 minus 9. Okay, so coming down this way, it's always adding 9. Going down this way, it's always adding 9. If I reverse that, it's not adding 9 anymore, it's subtracting 9. So I might write that there just so I have that. Okay, how do I get now the right side? So I have -9, -7, -5. So how do I get from -9 to -7? That is -7 minus -9, which is plus 2. How do I get from -7 to -5? You can plug it in if you want. And that's plus 2. So what's my pattern? This plus 2, this plus 2, this, So So this plus 2 is negative 3. This plus 2 is negative 1. If we're going plus 2 this way is not plus 2, this way is minus 2. So negative 9, I'll write it over here, negative 9 minus 2 should give me negative 11. Negative 11 minus 2, I can write, just jot that over there, negative 13. Okay, if you get stuck on how to do any one of these, come back to the video and watch me do it slowly on number 1 and a little faster on number 2. The pattern this way is the opposite the pattern that way. The pattern this way is the opposite of the pattern this way. All right, when we finish all the way to number 18, you're going to work on variables and expressions. If you're still working on it, that's fine. Everybody should be definitely able to get to number 9. All right, good luck, kids. See you Wednesday.